Hi, this is Steve Giles, and I just wanted to spend a few minutes going over the solution for your first assignment, Homework 1. So the first thing I want to do is log on to Moodle and go to our program and assignment. Here we see homework number 1, and it has 7 steps. So the first thing that you want to do is connect to the CCV web server and create a folder called Assignment 1 in your public HTML folder. So if I click on the web server link, it's going to bring me to my web server account. I've already logged on. So I go to the file manager, and in here I can create my new folder. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it, but I'll right click, say new folder, assignment 1. Now I've created my folder. Okay, so the next few steps involve creating a basic HTML file, adding a line of JavaScript, and validating your code. So let's do that. There are several different editors that you can use, and I'm going to use one called Sublime Text. So here's my basic web page, and the first thing that I want to do is validate it to make sure that it's valid HTML. So before I add any JavaScript, again, make sure it's valid HTML. So I'm going to go to the validator, the W3 org validator, paste my HTML in here, check it, and it's perfect, no errors. Great. So now I can add some HTML. I'm just going to add 3 lines of HTML. I'll save it, then I'll view it in my web page, and here's my HTML. So I want to look at the HTML that was generated. I'm using Google Chrome, so I can go to More Tools, Developer Tools, and here on the sidebar I can actually see HTML that was generated, which is 3 lines of text. So now let's modify this a little bit to add some JavaScript. So I'm going to replace my paragraph with JavaScript. And I'm going to call it line 2. So now when I refresh my page, it looks identical as before for the user, but if I look at my HTML, you see I'm generating that text using document.write instead of a paragraph element. Document.write is writing some text to the document. And we're going to talk about that more in week 8 when we talk about DOM. But if you want to look at the DOM, more about what it is, if you want to get a head start, I would recommend going to w3schools.com, and here's some information about the DOM. There's a lot of things that you can do. We're only using one little piece of it, which is document.write. You can do a whole bunch of other things, but for right now we're just using document.write. So right now when I'm running my page, I'm running it where the file exists locally. So you notice the protocol here is file. So I'm running my web page locally on my computer, but what I want to do instead is run it from the web server. So here I'm at the web server, here's my folder, and I want to transfer my index.html file from my client computer to the web server. On the right here is Windows Explorer. So I just left click on the file, move it over here, drag and drop it, and now my file exists on the CCV web server, public HTML, my assignment 1 folder. So the last thing I really want to do is view my web page in a browser, similar to this, but just at a different location. Okay, so I just loaded up index.html in my browser, and it's loading it from the CCV web server. So we all have different accounts. Mine is SEG, so that's my initials, and then here's my logon, and then the rest, all of this should be the same for everybody. The only thing that's going to be different is this very, very first part, which is your logon. I believe it's your logon. For me, it's my initials and then 08090. And there we go. So I can go to Developer Tools and see more about it if I wanted. Or I can right-click and say View Page Source. A couple different ways you can look at the HTML. So that's it. That's the assignment.